What's going on, everybody? It's Gone Turbo here. This is Skyrim Special Edition on the Xbox One. I hope you are doing well. I hope you're being safe and everybody is healthy. It is it's September 2020. It's been a long time since I put anything up here on YouTube. And in today's video, I wanted to show you how I start a new game, how I start a new character, and the settings that I use to make my particular load order the best it can be. If you've seen any of my videos, I pretty much have a standard load order that I use. My last load order video, gosh, I think went way back to May, and a lot of you have said that you like my load order, and these are the settings that I use when I start up a game. So we're gonna go ahead and start a new game here, and I just want to acknowledge a couple things while this game loads up. I first and foremost appreciate all of the support, all of the views on my videos, and those of you that have said some really nice things about the help that I provide you when it comes to modding this game. And I have always a couple of questions that I get from folks, if this load order is stable, if it works well. It seems to be like, I don't know, for some folks not good at all, and for others it works well. So anyway, I'll have the load order in the comments, pinned to the comments with links to each mod. So hopefully that's helpful for you. All right, so starting a new game here, I have alternate start. And that puts you in a dungeon. It skips the whole main opening sequence of the game, and you get to choose your character right away and then start your game in a particular way that you so choose. So I'm not going to spend time here creating a character. I'm just going to pick this guy, and you'll see that with starting a new game with this load order that I have, I get a lot of little pop-up notifications of different things that are loading. So you'll see in the upper left corner, Wonders of Weather starting, for display enhancements, having to start this bug journal added. There'll be all kinds of things that'll pop up to get started, but I'm going to show you how I adjust settings to make my game with this load order the very best it can look. And some of these little tricks might help no matter what kind of load order that you have. So anyway, we're in this dungeon. I'm coming over to the statue, and you get to, perhaps start a game with a different kind of storyline. That's why it's called alternate start or alternative start, and you can kind of do what you want to do in a different way. See, immersive citizens have been activated. Anyway, I want to pick I'm a patron at a local inn.
Which inn are you a patron of?
Just to kind of get more towards a town area. I'm just gonna we'll go to the Sleeping Giant.
Even the lowest among us
Why not?
can rise to greatness.
Alright, so after you do that, you come over to the bed. You got to sleep, and then you'll go ahead and get started. One thing that I have to do in order for a mod called Display Enhancements to work is I have to save and reload the game. So once we get going here, and we get outside, we will have to do a quick save and reload. So here's my dude. Alright. What time is it? 9:30 in the morning. We're going to go outside, and I'm going to show you how I go ahead and set up my game. So again, load order in the pinned in the comments. I apologize if I have not answered your questions in a long time. I just can't keep up with the amount of questions that I get, and just been extremely busy to even make videos lately. So I thought this one would be good, just to show you, just starting out a new game, that things work well for me. All right, so my game is very graphically heavy, and I do get in some areas of the map some slowdown. I'm gonna admit that does happen quite a bit in dense areas, but for the most part, I'm very happy with how my game looks. All right, so for setting up my Skyrim, and hopefully this will be helpful for you, there's a number of things that I do. Now, first and foremost, I have to save and reload for display enhancements to work. And of course, this guy is going to come over and say, blah, 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 you got a thing, and da 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 da. Let's get this out of the way.
Looks like that's it.
Yep, give me that. Yep, get going. Okay. All right, so we're going to save and reload, and we'll be right back. All right, here we are after the reload. And again, doing that for display enhancements to work. So, here we go. First and foremost, one thing that's going to be important for you no matter what you do with this game, meaning no matter what kind of display or monitor you have, TV, whatever, no matter if you are using mods or not, go into settings and go to display and look at your brightness slider and just adjust this to what might look good on your display. Obviously you're going to get a brighter or darker look. I start in the middle and then kind of adjust from there depending again on what weather or lighting mod I might be using, because I'm always using a weather and lighting mod in this game. So I'm going to go about there just to kind of start. So that's first and foremost important. Second, under Magic, for me, there's a mod called Rustic Weathers presets. You can use this mod independent of using Rustic Weathers itself or not. When you open this up, there's some different overlays that you can choose. There's things like Pixar, which adds a really colorful look, kind of cartoony. Fantasy, which blooms the heck out of the game. Oops. Bleak, just a kind of a grayer, washed out look. Vikings, a little bit more of a blue, cool look. Vibrant, a little bit brighter, colorful. I choose Harsh. What Harsh does is it disables bloom completely, and it adds a little bit of a contrast look to the game. So that's the first thing that you can do with this particular setup. Second is we're going to go to books. I have a mod called Disable Adaptation and Bloom, and it's a piece of paper under books that toggles bloom on and off, and then eye adaptation on and off. Now again, with the harsh setting for Rustic Weathers presets, bloom is disabled. So no matter what I do with this, it's not going to affect it. So you'll see in the upper left hand corner it says enable or disable bloom. You just open up the paper, and that's the mod's way of activating it. Eye adaptation though is pretty key. So what this does is if you're looking into a darker, or your character is in a darker area, it brightens up that spot just a little bit so you can see it a little bit better. It's very subtle, and it just adjusts the lighting just a little bit. So you want to make sure that this is enabled. It will slightly brighten up your entire display, but it's just a little bit. And I'm going to show you what this kind of looks like. All right, it's really It's really prominent in like going into like a stony mountain area. I'm going to come over here. I'm going to go back, and just to show how this works, I'm going to disable it. So disabling it means it's not adjusting anything. You might say, well, that looks fine. But if in some cases you go to a darker area like this, I mean, this isn't a normal thing you might do, but just to demonstrate, sometimes you'll get a really washed out look. This isn't the best example, but you'll see what I mean in a moment. If I go to the toggle page here, when I activate this, you'll see in the background, it lightens it up just a little bit. Now it's just a little bit. But that's what it does. And again, this isn't an extreme example, but sometimes you'll get in certain spots, like it's really noticeable. That's what that does, and I would really suggest enabling it. It's really prominent in like Fallout 4. That's another Bethesda game. You'll notice it a lot going into a darker or lighter area. It's just the game's way of adjusting things a little bit in shadowy areas. All right, so that's that. The last piece that is the bread and butter of modding this game is display enhancements. Now, even if you use nothing else for mods, I would say use display enhancements. When you activate this, you get some different options to adjust display settings like you would on a TV or a monitor. But instead of messing with that, you can mess with it right in the game, and it just has it permanently set. So, for example, you can adjust brightness, saturation, and contrast up and down. You can adjust high dynamic range settings, which I have played with and messed with, and some are more obvious than others, but there's nothing here that I use. And then under options, there's a chance to adjust red, green, and blue tint and fade. Sometimes I use this. I might add a little bit more of a red tint, but not usually. Just more like just messing around. But I haven't used it, and I'm not using it here. What I do use and would suggest is an increase in saturation and an increase in contrast. With that eye adaptation, with it lightening things up just a little bit, the harsh setting and a little bit of contrast with my display here really kind of balances that all out. Add a little bit more saturation if you want a little bit more of a, fantasy kind of look. And sometimes, I'm in the mood for that, and I add just a little touch of saturation and just one click. So that's all for my setup here. Again, I'm using Rustic Weathers. I like the natural look. Well, that's different. I like the natural look that it provides, and the consistency with the weathers that it provides. Meaning, like, if I'm in a snowy area versus a forested area versus like the rift, or not the rift. I can't think of it. I just draw a blank. No matter where you are in the map, everything just looks good. And no matter what kind of weather, everything looks good. There's some weather and lighting mods that, their daytime might look fabulous, but like a snowy weather just looks kind of gaudy. And I think just Rustic Weathers adds a nice look to everything overall. Some mods to highlight that I just want to share that brings my game to what I like. It's very graphically heavy. And I don't know if I mentioned, but some folks say it doesn't work for them, like it's crashes. Others of you have said it works great. But I do use graphics pack. I use graphics pack, everything from the main mod to the assets 1 and 2 to static mesh graphics pack, and even some of the newer ones, which are landscape. So the landscape piece of graphics pack includes the original rustic lands. I'm starting to snow. The rustic lands, the interior caves and forts. That was the original dungeons mods, called the dungeons mods pack or types. I have the trees add-on as well, and for the mountains, gosh, I'm trying to remember what the graphics pack incorporated into that. Northfire's photoreal mountains, maybe. I have Whiterun stone walls that it just adjusts that from the Osmodeus piece of the graphics pack. And some of you have asked, where am I putting some of these mods? I have more recently put graphics pack mods at the bottom of the load order with the weather mods underneath that. I am using Realistic Waters 2. And for a grass mod, holy cow, I just drew a blank. We'll have to look at it in just a second. One mod I want to highlight is Sigils of Skyrim. This is a banner replacer mod, and it's a pretty good file size. It's like 50 megabytes, pretty big, but it's just absolutely beautiful, and I think fits the game, fits the the culture and the look really, really well. So here's just one example. It's just fantastic. For weapons, I'm using Old Kingdom weapons. And for clothing and armor, variations. The full variations covers armors and clothing, and it mostly adjusts the coloring. And I find in this game that the darker some textures are, the better. And maybe it's because just of the way I have this load order set up. But well, it's snowy right now. I'm not going to adjust that. But another darker adjustment is darker distant LOD for level of detail. So that far distant background is made darker. I'm heading into Whiterun because a lot of you have commented that you crash when you go into Dragon's Reach. Now, I'm playing on the Xbox One, the original Xbox One, not the S or the X, and I haven't had that issue. This is a new character. Again, it's the alternate start, so I don't know if it's maybe this load order with starting the game fresh with the original storyline or not. Maybe it's I don't know. I don't know what it is. I don't have a lot of mods that adjust, gameplay completely. So I'm not exactly sure what that could be all about.
What do you need? We'll pay whatever it takes. But we must
I feel like I want to just adjust the weather to give you guys just some different looks. So we're gonna adjust it. I hate to do it, but let's just go back to the clear weather. It's clear day.
I'd sooner bend my knee to Ulfred's Stormcloak. Besides, Greymaker never makes it.
I was just gonna ask. I don't know if you heard that comment, but who is talking there? Oh, Isolda said she liked the green apples that she had the other day, and I was just thinking, where are there apples? Where are there apple trees in Skyrim? There aren't. But she just said she got them up from the south.
Never had any reason to deal with those caravans of theirs.
So, a little bit of lore there for you. A little bit of lore. We'll check out the load order real quick in just a moment. I just wanted to see if just heading right straight into Dragon's Reach all goes well. So you can see, I don't know, I mean, I'm not doing any comparison here, but that darker distant LOD mod just makes the, I'm not going to show I'm able to see it from up here, just makes that far distant back there darker. Just makes everything kind of blend foreground to background a little bit better. Another thing as we go into Dragon's Reach is no matter what you do when it comes to playing and messing with your display, is to make sure your interior balances the adjustments you make to the exterior. There are interior mods that are, you know, pretty heavy duty. So if you're messing with all those display settings for the outside, make sure it works for the inside as well. You might be adjusting saturation outside, but have an interior mod that already does that. So then you'll have like this double saturation effect, and like your fires will look really orange. That's just an example. I don't know if you can see some more of these sigils, but just really, really nice. These kids arguing. Spoiled brat. Alright, let's take a peek at my mods here. I can't recall the exact name of the interior mod that is used, but since this is more of a video around starting a new game and messing with my startup settings, I wanted to share what that mod particularly is. It's really good because it subtly balances all the different interiors, or at least that's what it claims to do, and I do find that to be the case. So you know, inns and interiors aren't crazy dark, but caves and dungeons are, you know, a little bit darker, just to make it more, you know, realistic. And it's lightweight, so the issue of flickering if you're carrying a torch or a lantern doesn't happen. Some interior mods cause textures to flicker, and some have been designed to make sure that that doesn't happen. So I'm not going to go through every mod here, but just highlight some of the ones around display settings and the ones that I've talked about. So we'll just go down here and unique grasses. I just want to make sure I mentioned that one. Very lightweight, doesn't change things too tremendously, but there are a lot of grass mods out there that can affect performance, but this one's really nice and really lightweight. There's that darker distant LOD. Nordic Snow I use. There's Sigils of Skyrim, 60 megabytes. Pretty good size for just a banner replacer. If that's important to you, then this is the one I'd suggest. Alright, so here's the display enhancements. And here's dynamically disable eye adaptation in Bloom. So that's the one. These are the two here that are key for this video. Talked about Old Kingdom and variations, just Wanted to highlight that. Yeah, interior lighting and effects. This is a Skeletor. Put this mod out. So with this setup and with this display, give this one a try if you'd like just a nice balance of, again, realistic look with dark, cold, eerie dungeons. Interiors of shops, homes have more natural and man-made light sources, so only slightly darker where suited. Ultra lightweight, no meshes altered, no scripts, no patches, safe to remove anytime. Corrected some of the FX lighting in the game. So I've just had nice success with this one. And I wanted to just highlight that just again because of the balance of interior and exterior. So, going more towards the bottom is that Rustic Weathers presets. Again, independent of Rustic Weathers mod. Graphics pack, assets 1 and 2, static mesh, the landscape and dungeons, exterior landscape mods, lush trees, the high poly project add-on, Skyland towns and villages, Whiterun stone walls. So it's important to mention this. So Rustic Weathers and lighting, I do use True Storms, and the Rustic Weathers True Storms merge patch. This is by Desmera. This is the one that keeps the aesthetic of Rustic Weathers, but adds the True Storms rain and snow and audio effects. So be careful, because if you have True Storms without this patch, you're going to have the True Storms look, which isn't going to look like what I just shared, or even might look of my gameplay. The other Rustic Weathers True Storms merge patch will keep the True Storms look, so make sure you have the right one. Natural clouds, I kind of play this on and off. Realistic Waters 2. Here's that alternate start mod that we started with. Hello, fish. All right, let's head back on out. That would have been a good place to show how that Adaptation mod works. So, man, I remember when first discovering that, playing with mods. Gosh, this may have been 2 years ago. It's been a long time modding this game. And I was approaching a cave, and my whole screen was just this awful washed out black look. And I was like, man, this isn't right. So that one really kind of saved the day. Let's go ahead a little bit with time and see what we might be able to do. I can't fast travel anywhere because it just started this character.
I know your family's honor is important to you, but we
Oh, where'd he go?
It took me weeks to find that thief's den. I can't stop now, and I can't get the sword on my own.
So you're willing to starve your wife and daughter?
Those two need a little bit of counseling, I think. Wouldn't you say?
I just need to hire one, maybe two good men.
Just sort it out. These two need a little bit of something too. Who's everybody arguing in this game? We got whiny kids in Dragon's Reach. We got people arguing in the streets of Whiterun. I ain't here to fix it all. I'm just a patron at a local inn. Nah, I'm just kidding. Commander Karras.
I'm the commander of the guard here in Whiterun.
How do you say that? It's all vowels. C-A-I-U-S. K-A-U-S. So anyway, I hope everyone is being safe during this pandemic. And I mean, anytime is a good time to play some Skyrim, but sometimes it's nice to just say, you know what, I'm not going to go out in public today. I want to play a little Skyrim. I want to play some games. So, just thought we'd maybe end the video with a little bit of a sunset here. So if you check out any of my other videos, my last one again, the May 2020 load order video. Thanks for all the views on that. Really shows a lot of examples of what this load order looks like, and what the setup that I just went through today provides. So I hope this has been helpful for everybody, and I hope you like and subscribe. And again, this has been Gone Turbo. I'll talk to you again soon.